And so what I really encourage coaches to do is to take a very individualistic approach to give the players the knowledge and the time to create their own space before a match. And
somebody said this to me. They said, we are parenting, we're like the helicopter parenting, where we're like hovering over our children with everything. And so now they've got a coach, they've got a sports psychologist, they've got a fitness trainer, they've got a trainer to help them with the SATs. They don't even really know how to. I'm glad my son and daughter know how to tie their shoes, because we're almost taking the survivor skills out of them. And I think that, but the pressure of it, of being a parent these days, is a kid can't just, it's almost like if your child came to me and you said, I want this child to be a college level tennis player. Well, all right, they're 12 years old. We only have like 5 or 6 years.
Yes.
That is a lot of pressure to get to that level. Even if the kid wants to do it, it's almost like they do need the sports psychologist and the trainer, because the competition is unbelievable.
And in those situations, I would also be more concerned about, why is the parent having this kind of motivation?
Yeah.
Is the child really wanting to be the
That's true,
college level athlete?
Yeah.
And so often, there are a lot of parents who are like overly involved in their child's athletic life, and you always hear the terms like little league parents and so forth. And what I've noticed is that some of the most effective coaches, particularly at the youth level, are those that they do the instruction stuff during practice, but then they leave the kids alone actually during the match, and give very little kind of instructional feedback during the match itself.
Yeah, because at that point, either they got it or they don't. It would add more stress trying to correct them there. So I think that's very good. And then it's all about fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this, and it's like I was at the Pittsburgh Steelers played the Atlanta Falcons. It came down to Morton Anderson, the field goal kicker. He's like 45 years old or something. And when they interviewed him after he did the winning kick, they said, well, what was it? He said fun 4 times. He goes, I just it's so much fun to be in that situation. I can, and he goes, and I'm so experienced, and I remember all the times it was so much fun to be able to be in that. That's really when you don't have fun anymore.
Yes, the fun. Again, getting back to the juniors, if you notice with kids at the youth sport level, there's a steady increase in participation as the kids get older, up until the point of about 12 to 14 years old. Then all of a sudden it just drops out. There's a huge dropout rate around 12 to 14. If you notice what happens around those ages is that the emphasis shifts from having fun with the sport to emphasizing and sometimes overemphasizing the competitive aspects to the sport. And so what happens is the kids lose touch with, why did I get involved in this in the first place?
Yeah, I can see that.
And getting back to the field goal kicker example, that also typifies, are you trying to work towards something? In this case, they're striving to succeed, or are you trying to avoid failure and losing face? And so if you can steer yourself to think more positively about, well, I want to challenge myself. I love these kind of situations. It gives me a chance to show off the skills I learned through hours and hours of practice. You're probably going to do pretty well. Whereas if you're thinking, all right, don't shank it, don't miss it right, like a lot of Florida State fans keep saying to themselves every wide right. And the chances are you're just going to fall flat on your face and hear about it in the newspapers all the next.
What do you suggest if you see a child, now kids are starting very young. Soccer, they're at 3 years old. At what age do you say, okay, this person is very good, they should just play soccer, tennis, whatever it is, baseball? What age is it?
Actually, I don't think that they should specialize until a little bit older, because part of it is you do learn a lot of skills and techniques from participating in a variety of different sports. And so it's not like, but if I were to want to have, say, a 4-year-old to focus only on tennis, that you can't say that participating in soccer is not going to translate well to tennis. You have the footwork and the speed and so on. And also what helps there is that the team aspects of the soccer, you don't often get that playing in a tennis setting. And so I really discourage people to kind of specialize too early on. But then there's a point of where the kid themselves, let them be your guide. If they're saying, I'm attracted more to this, I enjoy playing this more, then that's at the time, that's your cue to say, all right, let's start to focus more on tally on this.
That's good. All right, now golf.
Yes.
Now, before we even talk about everybody else's golf, let's talk about your golf.
I knew this was coming.
The reason we couldn't we wanted to film this show last Friday, but Kip had a little injury. Will you tell us what? Do you mind telling us what?
No. A friend of ours had invited my son and I to go play golf with him. And in fact, it's the husband of one of our other hosts of Enfoque Latino, Angela Indano. Well, her husband, Chance, invited Patrick and I to go play golf with him and his son. Now, this was the first time his son has ever stepped foot on a golf course.
Oh.
And around the 8th hole, it was a par 5, and we're ahead of the group and behind us. And so I said, this might be a good time to do some instruction on how you actually hold a golf club.
Yeah.
Not that I know that much better myself. So that's probably the thing that I should have heeded my own advice. But, I thought I had some bit of knowledge. And so I was over there showing him how to hold a golf club and also how to position himself in relation to the ball. And as soon as I started stepping back, all of a sudden the swing goes, and I had not cleared out soon enough. And he did not realize I was behind him. And that golf club, it was a driver, and it hit right across my nose. And so needless to say, I was out there for a few moments.
Yeah.
And laid up. And,
even a little kid swinging a golf club is pretty.
Yeah, particularly when you have those oversized
drivers.
Yeah,
that's right. And you notice how we positioned you. We got your good side, even though your left side it looks okay.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny with the clients I had the previous week that they were sitting there. They could tell they were wanting to ask, but they didn't want to embarrass me. And then there were some other clients. What'd you do? What happened?
No, it's a good story.
Yes.
You could really say some things, but I would say golf would be a very difficult. You know why I think it, and this is just from my experience as golf, because I don't play because of this. I think that I've always been athletic in the things that I've done, the sports that I've chosen, that it just seems like I should be able to hit that stupid little golf ball that's sitting there.
It's not moving around.
And then my expectations are so great that I get so ticked off that I go, I hate this game.
Yes. And golf really is not a physically demanding sport. And I think that's what happens when people who are good athletes, they try to come in and play golf in their later years, particularly, and they've had success playing tennis or basketball or baseball or whatever. Here they are thinking, all right, I'm going to pick up golf, particularly, as they get on up there, because it is a lifetime sport, as they say. And the ball's just sitting there. I have this club that has a big face on it. Why can I not just hit it straight down the fairway? And,
how come?
Well, because of the real estate, as they say, between your ears.
Oh, yeah, I hate that real estate.
The mental game in golf is so hugely important that it overrides much of the other kind of sports that you can see. It also plays a role in other sports, but it's so evidenced in golf. That one of the factors, that some of the biggest challenges I see golfers bumping up against are two big areas. One is around how does stress affect their performance during a round, or particularly like during a tournament, and also how do they kind of manage their focus and attention. And golf is one of those rare sports where at any given moment during the course of a round, you have to move through all four types of focus and attention. Right before you execute a particular golf shot, you first need to have a broad external focus where you're looking at the wind conditions, you're looking at the lie of the ball in the grass, hopefully you're taking into account the water hazards and stuff like that. And then you have to shift to a broad internal focus, like how have I hit this particular club in the past? What is my strategy for working this hole? Are there certain things about my swing that I need to kind of remember? And then you narrow down to an internal focus, which is, all right, I need to focus on how am I going to execute the shot? What is the flight of the ball? And then you need to shift to a narrow external focus, which is actually focusing on the ball. And if you are the least bit stressed, then it's going to be pretty likely that any one of those points is going to break down, and you're going to end up shanking it off into the woods.
That makes sense then.
Yeah. So, very rarely does one person have to go through all four types. Like a quarterback, typically they are in the huddle. They're very narrow and external, where they're explaining the play or calling the play, and then they have to go to a broad external, where they have to look at the position of the players. So, it's only a couple of different things that they're having to do. So golf is demanding in that kind of way.
And then, I guess, too, being a quarterback, being a tennis player, it's happening. I make better decisions quickly.
Yes.
You know what? It's like a tennis point does not last that long. And if I just stick with if I trust my swing and I trust what I'm doing, it can